Train your mind to attract unlimited wealth. There are two types of people walking this earth. One spends their entire life chasing money like a desperate hunter, working harder, grinding longer. Yet wealth runs from them, like shadows fleeing from light. The other sits in stillness, and money flows to them like water to the ocean. Not because they're lucky, not because they're special, but because they understand something most will never realize. You cannot attract what you are not prepared to receive. This isn't motivation. This isn't positive thinking. This is a fundamental law of consciousness that governs wealth, as surely as gravity governs falling objects. I've watched lottery winners destroy millions in months. I've seen inheritances vanish like morning mist. Why? Because they received wealth without the consciousness to hold it. Their bank accounts changed, but their inner world remained the same. Small, scared, unprepared. Here's the awakening most people resist. Wealth is not something you pursue. Wealth is something you become. The moment you stop chasing money and start becoming magnetic for it, everything changes. If you're ready to stop living as a financial hunter and start existing as a wealth magnet, comment consciousness shift, because what I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you believe about money. Number 1, the prison of poverty consciousness. Most people live in a cage they cannot see. They call it reality. Every morning they wake up and speak words of limitation. I can't afford that. Money is tight. Rich people are lucky. These are not observations. These are incantations. Spells cast against their own prosperity. Your words are not describing your reality. They are creating your reality. Every thought becomes a blueprint. Every word becomes an instruction to the universe. Ancient Babylonian merchants understood this power. In the clay tablets of Babylon, it is written, "The man who speaks of prosperity draws prosperity unto himself, while he who speaks of want brings want to his door." The Jewish Talmud teaches, "Life and death are in the power of the tongue." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." For the next 21 days, become the guardian of your words. Each time you catch yourself speaking limitation, "I can't afford it. Money doesn't grow on trees. I'm broke." Stop mid-sentence. Replace it with possibility language. "I choose to invest differently. I'm growing my wealth. I'm in my abundance phase." Write down every limiting phrase you catch, and it's a positive replacement. The young farmer inherited land from his grandfather, but constantly complained about poor soil and bad weather. His wise neighbor listened patiently, then said, "Your grandfather farmed this same land for 40 years and fed his family well. The only difference between his harvest and yours is that he planted seeds of gratitude each morning, while you plant seeds of complaint." The farmer realized that his daily words were determining his annual harvest. Prosperity consciousness is not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about training your mind to see solutions where others see only obstacles. When you speak abundance into existence daily, you align your mental frequency with the very energy that creates wealth. The universe responds, not to your circumstances, but to your consciousness. Number 2, the alchemy of value creation. Most people trade time for money, like prisoners serving sentences, hour by hour, day by day. Trading their life force for temporarily borrowed comfort, they focus on getting paid instead of getting valuable. But the awakened understand, value is the true currency. Time is equal for all. Value is infinite for those who serve uniquely. You don't get paid for time. You get paid for value brought to the marketplace. The ancient Babylonians wrote, "Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future." But deeper wisdom teaches that gold comes to those who create worth, not just work. Benjamin Franklin understood this. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. The Jewish tradition teaches, "Great is work, for it honors the worker." But the greatest work is solving problems others cannot or will not solve. For the next 7 days, wherever you are, your job, your neighborhood, your daily interactions, Ask yourself, what problem do I see that others are ignoring? What frustration keeps appearing? What would make people's lives easier? Write down 3 observations daily. By week's end, you'll have 21 potential value creation opportunities. Then ask, how can I solve one of these problems better than anyone else? A humble shoemaker in ancient Rome noticed that wealthy citizens constantly complained about their expensive sandals breaking. While others saw complaints, he saw opportunity. He studied why sandals failed, experimented with stronger materials, and created sandals that lasted 3 times longer. Soon, the wealthy were paying premium prices for his unbreakable sandals, and he became wealthier than many of his customers. Wealth doesn't flow to those who work hardest, but to those who solve problems most effectively. When you shift from time seller to problem solver, from employee mindset to entrepreneur consciousness, you transform ordinary effort into extraordinary income. The marketplace rewards value creation above all else. Number 3. The mirror of consciousness. Here's the truth that will disturb your sleep. Your external world. It is a perfect mirror of your internal state. Most people try to change their reflection. By yelling at the mirror, they fight circumstances while feeding the consciousness that created them. True transformation requires consciousness archaeology, excavating the limiting beliefs buried in your subconscious, replacing them with abundance programming. Your circumstances are not happening to you, they are happening through you. The Hermetic principle states, as above, so below, as within, so without. Biblical wisdom teaches, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Jewish teaching explains, a person is where his thoughts are. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. These ancient truths all point to one reality. Consciousness creates circumstances. Begin consciousness archaeology immediately. For the next 30 days, catch yourself every time you speak limitation. I can't afford. Money is tight. I'm broke. Write each phrase down, then immediately rephrase it. I can't afford this becomes I choose to invest my money differently right now. Track your progress. You'll be shocked how often you program yourself for poverty without realizing it. 2 merchants sold identical goods in the same marketplace. One was constantly worried about competition, complained about customers, and feared economic downturns. The other saw competition as validation of market demand, viewed difficult customers as training for excellence, and prepared for downturns by building reserves during good times. After 5 years, the worried merchant had barely survived, while the prepared merchant owned 3 thriving businesses. Same market, same products, completely different consciousness. Your outer world is not your problem or your prison. It's your mirror and your messenger. Every external circumstance, it is reflecting an internal program. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You're the author of them. Change the inner programming, and the outer results must follow, as surely as spring follows winter. Number 4. Daily wealth practices. Most people have good intentions, but no daily system. They want abundance, but practice scarcity. They ask for wealth, but their habits are cheap, impulsive, and reactive. Every morning they stumble into their day, hoping it goes well. Instead of designing it intentionally, the door to wealth is guarded by your daily habits. If your habits are cheap, life gives you results to match. If you're asking for abundance, but practicing scarcity, you're speaking 2 different languages, and life only speaks one: alignment. Every morning before the chaos of the world invades your space, prime your mind for abundance. Don't just stumble into your day. Design it intentionally. Before the news starts shouting problems, before social media floods you with noise, take time to program your focus. Ancient wisdom teaches that the early morning hours hold special power. The Jewish tradition speaks of the gates of heaven opening at dawn. Benjamin Franklin wrote, "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." Marcus Aurelius began each day with meditation and reflection, understanding that how you start determines how you finish. Create the sacred morning routine. Meditate in silence to clear mental clutter. Read something empowering that speaks to your goals. Journal your intentions, your gratitude, your vision. Speak affirmations that anchor your identity. These are not empty rituals, they are mental conditioning. They build your resilience, your clarity, your alignment. You don't create wealth just by grinding harder. You create it by thinking sharply. A farmer was asked the secret to his abundant harvests while neighboring farms struggled. He replied, "Every morning before dawn, I walk my fields in silence. I inspect the soil, check for pests, and plan the day's work. My neighbors sleep until the sun is high, then rush to react to whatever they find. I tend my crops with intention, they tend theirs with panic. The harvest reflects the morning." A primed mind makes better decisions, sees hidden opportunities, responds to challenges with strength, not stress. Make it a habit to enter the day on purpose, not by accident. That's how you build momentum. That's how you tune your frequency to match wealth. That's how wealth starts moving toward you. Number 5, the inner transformation journey. Most people chase wealth externally, while remaining poor internally. They blame their circumstances, their boss, their city, their economy, everything except the one place where transformation actually begins, the mirror. For things to change, you've got to change. That one sentence hit me like lightning. It shattered the illusion that my life was anyone else's responsibility. I stopped blaming, I stopped waiting, I started becoming. I realized I had the power all along. I just wasn't using it. Your career might give you income, but personal growth gives you an increase. Expand your mind, stretch your belief system, upgrade your habits. The Jewish tradition teaches, "Who is wise? One who learns from every person." Biblical wisdom declares, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In our context, the best response to poverty is not to think like poor people. Build a personal development library. That becomes the cornerstone of your mental wealth. Read biographies of people who started with nothing and built empires, not just to admire them, but to understand their patterns, decisions, and values. Attend seminars that don't just inform you, but stretch yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Surround yourself with content and conversations. That makes mediocrity uncomfortable. You ultimately become the result of what you consistently expose your mind to. If you fill your environment with thoughts of growth, discipline, strategy, abundance, your life will eventually mirror those exact qualities. I started treating my mind like a garden. Every day I would inspect it. I pulled out the weeds, those ugly patterns of doubt, procrastination, fear, and low self-worth. I stopped tolerating them like they were harmless. They were thieves. Then I began planting seeds, discipline, confidence, consistency, vision, wisdom. It wasn't overnight, but slowly the garden began to change. The thoughts were clearer. The direction became sharper. The harvest changed. Opportunities started to appear. People started to respect the value I brought. The universe responded differently. Because I was different. Work harder on yourself. Thank you for doing your job. Here's the truth that will set you free, or terrify you. You already have everything you need to attract unlimited wealth. You don't need more opportunities. You need more consciousness. You don't need better circumstances. You need better thinking. You don't need a different life. You need a different mind. Money is merely a tool. It does not create character. It reveals it. It doesn't make you better or worse. It magnifies who you already are. The goal isn't just to make money. It's to become the kind of person who can handle it responsibly, purposefully, ethically. If you skip this step, you may get rich, but you won't stay rich. Wealth flows to those who are prepared to manage it with wisdom and integrity. There is no secret formula. The truth has always been simple. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Expand your mind, upgrade your habits, take absolute responsibility for every area of your life. Abandon blame, comparison, and excuses. Take full ownership of your thoughts, your choices, your future. Act with consistent discipline, even when it's inconvenient. And above all, believe deeply, unshakably, that abundance is not reserved for the few. It is available to those who are prepared. willing and ready to rise to meet it. Train your mind, my friend, not just once, but daily. Train it with precision, with intention, with hunger, because when your mind is truly ready, wealth won't just be a distant dream. It'll be a faithful companion, not a stranger, but a neighbor. Comment wealth if you're ready to stop chasing money and start becoming magnetic for it. The transformation begins the moment you decide that your inner world matters more than your outer circumstances.